Welcome to the Business Collective podcast with Terry Fletcher. Weekly conversations and insights on how to go from employee to consultant in any business field where your years of expertise can be showcased. Take your career to the next level, entrepreneurship. Now here's your host, nationally recognized healthcare consultant, speaker, and author, Terry Fletcher.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business Collective podcast. My name is Terry Fletcher. So this week, I wanted to talk about brand recognition, and I want to talk about it in a way that I think some people may miss how to increase your brand awareness or how to get that outside attention, not necessarily tied to social media. And for myself, owning a business for going on now, actually almost 30 years, it's crazy to me just seeing how everybody is trying so hard to market themselves when you really need to look at what some subtle marketing tools can be and how you can really put yourself out there. So let's take a look at that and see what that means. So first of all, I don't know if you ever heard about something called guest blogging. And this is really credibility by being a guest of blogging or writing an article on other people's sites. I know everybody says, yeah, but we're doing it for free. Well, I write articles for the NSCHBC. I write articles, which is a National Society of Healthcare Business Consultants certified. I write articles for ICD-10 Monitor and bigger companies than mine, because I'm a small business owner, that can pick up not only this article, but then I also have a version of it on my website as well. But this can be anything from submitting an article to a trade publication to blogging regularly for, Inc. magazine. But it's one of the best ways that I've been able to get my brand's name out there while not being all over social media. So really try the blog or the article route. It also helps with what we call your SEO, search engine optimization. So when they use certain buzzwords or they just look for Terry Fletcher, for example, they go right to a site and it shows the credibility because those sites also like NAMIS and different sites will bring you up. And so that can be really helpful to you. Another one would be to pitch podcasters or journalists. So just pitch them, basically that you'd like to maybe be on their podcast or, you really like their podcast. And if they're ever looking for a guest, you'd be happy to be a part of that. Now, I have 8 podcasts, believe it or not, but I only have guests on 2 of them. The rest are actually what I call solo podcasts. And it's not just because, yes, I like to hear myself talk. I'm kidding. But it's because nobody argues with me. No, I don't have to worry about anybody showing up. So it's very efficient and I can actually podcast whenever I want. I don't have to worry about somebody else's schedule. But when you actually find a podcast that uses guests, this is a great way, or let's say that they use a round table of multiple guests. This is a great way to get yourself out there and also getting your brand out there. So you get a different audience and it's just an extension of what, your circle of clients or potential clients could be, but that's really helpful to be out there. Another thing is reach out to product reviewers. And even if you're a service-oriented business like I am, getting a review or getting a endorsement or something like that can really help. I put some of those quotes on my website. I include them sometimes in an email at the bottom. And, it helps your referral base. And it also helps you to know what your clients are saying about you. So when you deal with some of those reviews, it's just really helpful if you can search the term for your industry category, maybe blog on Google or Twitter, copy their website and check their traffic, maybe on alexa.com, see if they're substantial enough, and then find out if they want to do maybe a product review if you're selling something or a service review if you are a service provider. Also, when you share services with other consultants or share services with somebody else in your industry. And don't be afraid of that. I think everybody's like, no, I want all the business. I share a lot of business and I refer out a lot because to me, being more available for clients and knowing who my subject matter expertise people are versus just myself is just a win-win for not only myself, but for clients. But it also gives you a really good name in the industry when somebody says, oh no, Terry's very generous with referrals and promoting, especially other women in the industry, and just making sure everybody else is equally represented, because we all have something to share and we all have a different take on things. Now this one, and I know this is kind of somebody saying, well, of course, but you'd really be surprised how many people don't realize this. Get yourself out there, okay? If you're going to grow your business, you need to take every single opportunity that's given to you in order to grow that business. Sometimes that means creating opportunities where others may not see them. Maybe join a local committee, host a show on your own local broadcasting network. That's always an opportunity. Be a resource for any magazine that's looking for information. Find a way to really get yourself out there, not just with blogging and with articles and with guest appearances, but also showing up at certain charity events, just showing up, speaking events, things like that, and take every opportunity you have to do that. Also, there's some nonprofit organizations that do need speakers to present content. I know in my field, there's organizations like AHIMA and AAPC, which are coding bodies, and we present information, and a lot of us for local chapters, because they're not profit, we either do it for free or very nominal fee, and it hits another 100 people, which I don't know if you ever remember the one commercial back in the 80s, and so on and so on and so on. So it's kind of like a game of telephone to get yourself out there, and it gives you people a good perception of who you are now that we're so digital and virtual in what we do. Another one would be to pursue non-traditional PR opportunities. So try to to get your brand out there. If you have an actual office, if that's a space that you've now gotten, because I know that so many people are now virtual, as I mentioned, but there's commercial business space now that is available very inexpensively, well, comparatively now that we're in inflation, but inexpensive compared to what it used to be, to have events and do things for the local community, and just really kind of bring visitors into what you're doing. And, giving back is also very important. One thing I actually started, and I actually think I started it a little bit late, but it's really finding the time too, but you have to really have a commitment, is whether you're building a personal or company brand, send out a regular email update to the people in your circle, your clients. You'll be able to measure how many people received and opened your communication if you use certain platforms for that email. And you'll get immediate feedback on how your content engaged your audience. And you'll have a direct line of communication to really showcase what's important to you, what you think they should know, and always include maybe a line of inspiration. I like to look at my Pinterest site for certain quotes of inspiration and always give credit to the author of that quote. And I see people now that take those quotes sometimes and put it on their signature line. People are reading to the end, and retention is a really big deal. So it's really important to embrace some of those emails, things that you do monthly, and that communication with your clients. Another one, and some people don't understand how this really gets back any kind of a profitability with an entrepreneur, but because many entrepreneurs are, in my opinion, uncomfortable with seeking the spotlight, but a larger brand presence is important for driving growth in your brand. And if you focus on delivering exceptional service to your clients, then try some random acts of kindness. So expediting orders that they don't expect, making a product donation to their favorite cause. And that tells a story for you. Not only will you be building your brand, but you'll be doing activities that make you feel good about you. So try to do some of those and it'll be spotlighted. Somebody will say something. And lastly, and this is a big one, and this is one that kind of boggles my mind every once in a while. When it comes to the acronym SME, Subject Matter Expert. So social media is only one aspect of building a successful brand. And there are many opportunities for driving traffic and garnering customers through content-driven sites. So really try to be an expert, not just in your field, but in specific areas of what you do. You need to develop a unique voice and start reaching out to content providers to publish, again, your articles and generate some real quality leads and brand awareness. The reason I say this is perfect example. Again, I'm a service industry person as far as a consultant, and everyone knows that my number one specialty in my expertise is cardiology. Okay, it's just because that's what I've really focused on. But then because of some of the things I write and some of the things that I focus on the side, I also have expertise in gastroenterology, the medical specialty, in telemedicine. I'm kind of consider the guru on that. And also E&M auditing, which is office visits and hospital visits, and, training and things like that. Well, a lot of people are like, oh, wait, you know about that? I'm like, yeah. And so the one thing that I find kind of tough is having somebody who says they do everything. Nobody does everything well. You can do a few things very well. You can do one thing expertly, but you cannot be the catch-all for everything. You can't. Think of it as a baseball player, utility player. Well, today you're going to play second base, and they do a pretty good job. Or today you're going to play shortstop. We might even throw you into pitch if our game gets out of hand where we're losing. See what I'm saying there? So they're good enough to be somebody that knows a little about a lot of things, but you want to be somebody that knows a lot about a few things. And if you can become a subject matter expert, that's going to be huge for building your brand, for making sure that as an entrepreneur, there's no question of who you are and what your identity is as that person, that go-to person. Okay, so if you keep those things in mind, you will have just an excellent starting point of building your brand, making sure that you aren't always relying on social media, but just understanding how to bring attention to your brand. And hopefully that helped you, and we'll see more of you with trying to take these tools and use them to be successful entrepreneur and hopefully a successful business owner. So everyone, make it a great day and a great rest of your week. And thank you for listening to the Business Collective podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Business Collective podcast. Drop us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website and blog at www.business-collective.com.